Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity. Well, let's just come in the presence of the room and welcome everyone that's joining us on live stream as well and in your homes. We'd like to take this hour to connect with this greater power, this greater love we call God, Spirit, Source, whatever word makes you feel connected to the divine energy. And we like to chant the spiritual into our being, and we encourage you to sing with us. I will be the call with Norma, and then Larry is the response. And if you've been with us, you've done the song with us many times. So just come into the presence and leave the world outside these doors and just bask in the presence of this love.
Good morning, everyone. Well, Christmas is but a few days away, and the good news is that we have received more gifts, more food supplies, more turkeys than we ever have for our Christmas drive to go to the Native Americans. It's phenomenal. Just a beautiful outpouring from all of you wonderful people. Thank you for that. On the limited side of Christmas, we have every year, we're subjected to a movie about how the Grinch stole Christmas. The blatant fact is that Santa Claus, backed and promoted by huge corporations, steals Christmas every year from the one who the holiday was made for. So we should give some thought to that. The Christmas holiday is not just about the birth of Christ, historically speaking. It exists as a reminder that somewhere along the way, we will see through the limited historic symbolic ideas presented in the Christmas story and realize that this holiday is about the birth of Christ in us, the birth of Christ in every individual whose mind is open to understand that whole transformation. So here we are again. I think I'll share with you the basic truth upon which the unity movement is founded. So can we have this first PowerPoint, please? You can read this in the book of Colossians, chapter 1, verses 25 to 27. And this is the apostle speaking. I became a minister according to the divine office which was given to me for you, to make the word of God fully known, the mystery hidden for ages and generations, but now made manifest to his saints. To them God chose to make known how great among the Gentiles are the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. When it says in this particular passage, made known to his saints, the word is actually better interpreted as the devoted, made known to those who are devoted to the truth. So they use the word saints, but it actually means that. So it's not just about the birth of Christ. I mean, it's actually about the awakening of one's divine nature. And you can call that the awakening of Buddha nature, or you can call that the Tao, transformation, or you can call it the Zen reality, or you can call it, the at-one-ment, as A Course in Miracles calls it, or you can call it the here and now consciousness that Eckhart Tolle refers to, or you can call it whatever you want to call it. But we are talking about a transformation out of the thinking of the world, out of the way the world thinks and operates. So that is the ultimate destiny. It is the most important element about human life in the dimension we call Earth. It is the most important element. Surely we do have, just like the Christmas holidays, we have, myriad distractions day after day after day that have us seeking in a failed manner to find happiness, fulfillment, and peace of mind. We seek in a failed manner because we were born and raised in the limited thinking of the world. The illusionary concept and definition of life as the world understands it is totally erroneous. But since we were raised and educated in it, we chase the pleasures and treasures of the material world with the definition in mind that we are strictly separate material body minds, and we have this whole underlying fear that someday we will die. This is the difference between arriving in the reality of the divine nature. When one arrives in the reality of the divine nature, that one knows he or she is an eternal soul being. Imagine the freedom that comes with that if you haven't been there. Some of you in Unity have, but you can imagine it if you haven't been there. The freedom from fear and concern and the necessity to rush and struggle and fight. You can see that if you recognize you're an eternal soul being, and that this dream that we are living in, filled with consternation and worry, is not real. It's not real. You know, when you have an actual dream in which it's confusing and worrisome, how do you feel when you wake up from that? And you look at the dream, you say, oh, you know, none of that is real. And you feel peace, a beautiful peace. Oh, my goodness, it wasn't real. When you enter into the enlightened state of consciousness, you know, even though you're in the dream, that it is not real. It is not one's reality. It is one dimension in an ongoing, eternal number of dimensions in which souls move and carry on experience. So knowing that is being awake in the dream, brings a peace of mind that those who believe the dream never have. They can't have it. Because the terror of being, mortal and going around once is why they are grabbing for whatever they can get in this limited life awareness that they have. So this whole idea of grappling with the material considerations of the world, seeking the pleasures and treasures of a world that when you know this, you know it ends. This dream you're having now ends. And you go on. And it may be that you'll go on to dream again in the world. But that'll be something up to your soul and your soul development. But when you actually know, without a shadow of a doubt, this dream will conclude. It will be over. And you can have the wisdom of the divine intelligence that provides the entire cosmic dream. You can have that guiding you moment to moment to moment and feel the joy and the peace and the love of that continually, without worry about how you're going to get your next meal or how you're going to pay your rent, which is the big worry that everybody has today. So there's a beautiful story that illustrates how we chase this material illusion, this mirage. It's about a very wealthy king who, upon visiting one of his provinces, saw a beautiful maiden. And as the story actually goes, is from the Babylonian text, she was not just beautiful, she was drop dead gorgeous with a smoking hot body. And so the king summoned her to his palace in order to put her to a test, because he wanted her to also be wise. Now, why he would want her to be wise as well is beyond me. I began to lose interest in the story. What was he planning to do with her? Play chess? So, but I'll have to relate the rest of the story because it has to do with the points I'm making in this talk. Okay, so don't lose the points I was making. It goes like this. I'm giving a story that illustrates how we chase the material pleasures and treasures of the world, and ultimately they have to play out and fade in our experience. They will. It happens for everybody, everywhere. So I'm giving the story about the drop-dead gorgeous maid with the smoking hot body being summoned to the palace, and he's going to give her a test, which he does. He brings out a bag of precious pearls, and he lays the bag before her, and he says to her, this drop-dead gorgeous maiden with the smoking hot body, you can reach into the bag and take out a pearl. You can only take out one pearl. You can look on it. If you want to keep it, you can keep it, and that will be yours. But if you think you want to go for a better pearl, then you put that pearl away, down, and you reach into the bag again and take another pearl. And so you can reach in as many times as you want until you find the pearl you actually want and want to keep. So the drop-dead gorgeous maiden with the smoking hot body reaches into the bag of pearls and pulls out the first pearl. It's beautiful. She looks at it, but she thinks, oh, it's beautiful and it's very valuable, but maybe there's a better one in there. And so she puts that aside and she reaches in again, pulls out another pearl and says, oh yeah, this is better than the first one, but gee, there might be one even more beautiful, more valuable than this. So she reaches into the bag again, take out another pearl, but it's not quite as nice as the one she just put aside. So she puts that down quickly, reaches into the bag again, pulls out another pearl, and it's not quite like the first two she looked at, so she puts it aside. And as the story goes, she keeps reaching into the bag now, and the pearls become more and more inferior until all she's pulling out are rocks. And that's an illustration about our questing after the treasures and pleasures of the world. You have to ask yourself sometime about people like Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra and many of the different spiritual leaders and stuff. Why they talk this stuff over and over again? Why do they get up and relate this truth over and over again? Because they're living in a completely different dimension. They're living in a dimension of ongoing peace and joy and beauty and wisdom. So it is well for us to take that to heart. It seems, that if we make the spiritual truth the priority in our lives. You see, it said that Christ in you is for those who are the devoted. We make that the priority in our lives, we will transition from a consciousness of worldliness to a consciousness of divine awareness. And while we are still in the world, we are no longer of the world. This is the way the Master of Life, Jesus, put it. You are in the world. I want my disciples not to be taken out of the world, but I want them to be in the world, and I want them to be free of the evil that the world actually lives in. So they're in the world, but no longer of the world. They have freed themselves of the evil that the world projects, the separation that creates the underlying error of all errors, the underlying sin of all sins, is the idea there's me and everything else that's separate from me. Therefore, I do things that have, limited, terrible effects on others, but it doesn't affect me. It's not true. But in any case, we transition to become more and more divine in expression and less driven by the world. Can we have this PowerPoint from Eckhart Tolle? This is from his book, The New Earth, page 277, paragraph 1. The whole is made of existence and being, the manifested and the unmanifested, the world and God. So when you become aligned with the whole, you become a conscious part of the interconnectedness of the whole and its purpose, the emergence of consciousness into this world. As a result, spontaneous, helpful occurrences, chance encounters, coincidences, and synchronistic events happen much more frequently. Carl Jung called synchronicity an acausal connecting principle. This means there is no causal connection between synchronistic events on our surface level of reality. It is an outer manifestation of an underlying intelligence behind the world of appearances and a deeper connectedness that our mind cannot understand. But we can be conscious participants in the unfolding of that intelligence, the flowering consciousness. To make this as simple as it can be, through spiritual practice, as we transition into divine awareness and are no longer tossed to and fro by every changing tide of circumstance around us, as we begin to see through it and live in the flow of it, more and more occurrences take place, synchronistic events and harmonious events. Things happen, and I will tell you that they happen so frequently sometimes, they're amazingly mind-blowing. So that all that we've ever wanted from life is to be free of the concern of having to work and get what we need to feel fulfilled. That goes out the window with the awakening of the mind to the presence of God as this intelligence, which provides and provides and provides if you are there in the consciousness, willing to provide yourself. That means everything you're willing to allow to be given through you comes back to you. So it's a completely different way to be alive. There's no fear about what you're giving away, because you know it's coming back in these amazing events and occurrences. So this is the way we find our divine awareness, by beginning to release the strong impulses that we were born to and raised in. Impulses that, I have to be careful, I have to make sure I set things up so that I will be materially taken care of, and I need to get these things together and all that. So when you read in the Bible, seek first his kingdom and his glory, and all else will be added unto you, don't just turn the page. Because that was written by somebody who knows what happens when you seek first. When you make the priority, the awakening. Be awake in living. That is, don't be tossed to and fro by every changing tide of circumstance. Don't allow negative thoughts and emotions to ride through over and over again in your awareness. Pause, stop, and realize you don't need this. You really would rather be pursuing peace and healing and wholeness and love, regardless of saying, but there's all this stuff is happening, something has to be done about it. You want to do something about all that's happening, enter into the consciousness divine, and then the insights that come to you will provide you with what is necessary and needed. And what is necessary and needed in every situation is to bestow peace, bestow compassion, bestow love, bestow truth. Free yourself from the world that has turned you into a fearful entity and become an emissary of divine light and love. That's what these things are all about. That's what all the great religious teachings are all about. They're the same at the heart of every one of them. That we are one with God, but we have forgotten that oneness and live without it and suffer because of that. So let's have this next PowerPoint, please. In the New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, page 258, your inner purpose is to awaken. It is as simple as that. You share that purpose with every other person on the planet because it is the purpose of humanity. Your inner purpose is an essential part of the purpose of the whole, the universe and its emerging intelligence. Your outer purpose can change over time. It varies greatly from person to person. Finding and living in alignment with the inner purpose is the foundation for fulfilling your outer purpose. It is the basis of true success. Without that alignment, you can still achieve certain things through effort, struggle, determination, and sheer hard work or cunning, but there is no joy in such endeavor, and it invariably ends in some form of suffering. So can we take this back again? This is from his book. This is the essential truths in the New Earth. Your inner purpose is to awaken. It is as simple as that. You share that purpose with every other person on the planet because it is the purpose of humanity. Your inner purpose is an essential part of the purpose of the whole, the universe and its emerging intelligence. Your outer purpose can change over time. It varies greatly from person to person. Finding and living in alignment with the inner purpose is the foundation for fulfilling your outer purpose. It is the basis for true success. Without that alignment, you can still achieve certain things through effort, struggle, determination, and sheer hard work or cunning, but there is no joy in such endeavor, and it invariably ends in some form of suffering. Thus, by making the inner purpose our priority, we are already aligning ourselves with this great intelligence, which will guide us to our outer purpose, so that we will be one with the purpose we are living and doing. But it requires that particular process of making the priority awakening and being awake in the process of living. And it's not just enough doing your meditation in the morning and then going back out into the world and becoming a coffee-drinking, cigarette-smoking basket case. That's not what it's about. It's about entering the world as an emissary of peace, so that your peace, actually touches everything around you, influences everything around you, because all minds are in some way in communication. So that's our calling, and it is never going to change. And all the masters down through the ages have said exactly the same thing. It is our option to awaken and become awake in the dream, so that we are awake while we are still in the world and living as an emissary of peace, compassion, love and sharing, truth, honor, and joy. We'll once again practice our meditation together, and practicing meditation is the way we purify the mind of the limited conditions and thinking that has been foisted upon us by the world. So, as we prepare to do that, take a couple of deep breaths, relax, let go. There is nothing judging you but your own soul experience. You are forever being measured against what your soul would want to be for you in every moment, which is beautiful peace, harmony, and love. So just rest in that and relax as you listen to the bowls share their beautiful musical tones. And then when we get to the place of silence, which is about 10 minutes long, you can use this particular idea. Just keep bringing your mind gently to this truth. The moment-to-moment creation is one with me. I rise with it and live in it. The moment-to-moment creation is one with me. I rise with it and live in it. as we go forth from this meditation. Let us go forth with a greater determination to be awake while we are living, awake to be present in the moment, to bestow peace, healing, compassion, and love. For this opportunity to be an emissary of divine truth, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now in our usual COVID-19 manner. Bring to mind whatever gift you'd like to make so that we can continue this ministry, which goes, every day of the week we're operating. And for those of you that are watching online, on screen, or picking this up later in the week, we could also appreciate a gift from you so that we can continue to provide a ministry of divine transformation. So as we take this gift in our minds, what we'd like to give, let's bless it with this statement of truth.
Heather, can we get the slide up of the ways to tithe? Thank you.
All right. So let us bless this offering in mind with this statement of truth. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.